What is going on? We are here to dissect some college football. Now, the seventh overtime game just ended. We will get to that. I want to start this off with the Michigan and the Ohio State game. That was clearly the biggest game of the day, and Ohio State dominated Michigan, and it's heartbreaking loss for Michigan. I mean, you're the number 4 team in the country. You're at the back end there of the playoff. You pretty much win that football game, and you put yourself in a prime position to win the Big Ten, win the conference, and move on to the playoff, but they just get destroyed. You got Coach Khakis over there, 0 for 4 now when it comes to Ohio State, and it's just interesting because coming into this game, you've seen Urban Meyer and this Ohio State team struggle not like we have not seen before. Let's be real. I mean, that Maryland overtime winner, potential loss there that could have happened. You have the Nebraska win for the Ohio State Buckeyes, which was really iffy. I mean, Nebraska stinks, and they almost pushed the Buckeyes to the limit, and then the obvious blowout by Purdue. So this isn't an Ohio State team that we have seen coming into this game, but what we saw today at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, that was pure dominance. That's the Ohio State that we thought we would see all year, but we didn't. But they make some noise with that win. I mean, Dwayne Haskins, 5 touchdown passes. Yeah, he was dead serious today in that 62-39 win. I mean, you're talking 62 points on arguably the best defense in college football that people were saying before tonight's game. Olave, 2 touchdowns and a blocked punt which went in for a touchdown. He was electric today. Freshman, that is. I want to take a look at this game and say, is this enough for the Ohio State Buckeyes to get into the playoffs? And my personal opinion is they can. If they win against Northwestern and win the Big Ten, I think that there's a chance they get in, but they need help from other teams. I do not think they have their own destiny, because you look at Oklahoma, who is ahead of them right now in the standings, and they have a chance to win the Big 12. So if Oklahoma wins the Big 12 with the record they have now, how does Ohio State jump them? How? I just don't see it happening. You needed a Notre Dame loss today as well. They did not lose to USC. That was a fight by USC, and it's a shame because they had self-inflicted wounds tonight. USC with a couple catch and fumbles. They did well with their offensive line. I mean, Notre Dame did not get to the quarterback until super late in the football game. USC put up a fight. Obviously, they're not as talented, but they had some self-inflicted wounds as they fall. But when you look at Ohio State and what they need to get into the top 4, they need help above them. So obviously, LSU fell in the 7th overtime. You have teams like UCF, who loses their quarterback, and I'm sorry, but their schedule is just not strong enough for my liking. And losing their quarterback is obviously a key issue here. But if Oklahoma and Ohio State both win out, I don't see how Oklahoma falls behind Ohio State. I just don't see it. Now, obviously, we never know what can happen with the committee. But that's just how I see it right now. It is possible. They need help, though. They don't control their own destiny, in my opinion. But it was a tremendous win, and it puts them in the conversation if things were to happen. But I don't think they hold their own cards to destiny. I just don't see it. So I obviously already went over the USC game. There were 4 games today for me that really caught my attention. Obviously, Michigan, Ohio State, the Notre Dame USC game, which was the 8 o'clock night game, the Iron Bowl. I mean, it was just a dominating performance for the Alabama Crimson Tide, which we all expect. It seems like it's going to be that way each and every single week. But Tua has 6 total touchdowns. He threw for 5. He ran in for 1. Jalen Hurts gets an opportunity in there. Bang, instantly a touchdown. I mean, we know what Judy can do. They just have a team that's unbelievable. And they dominate Auburn. Here's the 7 overtimer. And it's a shame because I think the refs did a really bad job in this football game, especially down the stretch. There was a horrendous 4th and 18 spot that kept Texas A&M alive. It seemed like LSU won this football game. They had an interception with barely any time left on the clock, but as the ball was snapped, Kellen Mond gets the ball and his knee was down, so technically he was down and keeps him alive. The interception gets called back. They end up making a big play. He spikes it with like 0.0005 of a second left. They score a touchdown to end up tying the ball game on the last play of the game. It goes to 7 overtimes. There was a false start in overtime that the refs missed. I thought that was a lousy pass interference call when the ball was clearly not catchable in the 7th overtime to put the 2-point conversion literally at the half-yard line. Now, there was a false start that pushed him back again. With all that said and done, with how poorly I thought the refs did in Texas A&M's favor, LSU had a ton of chances to stop A&M in overtime once they had the lead, and they couldn't get it done. So I thought it was horrendous by the referees, but at the same time, LSU had enough chances that they should have been able to win it. And Jimbo Fisher and A&M get the job done there at home. The place was electric. I mean, you're talking about 74-72, just coming down to the wire in regulation and then just battling it out. Both teams getting some field goals in overtime. Both teams scoring touchdowns in overtime. They were literally countering each other back and forth. Now, when you look at the receiving core for A&M and what they did in those overtime periods, I mean, that was some serious stuff. You have Davis and Rogers, and the one touchdown by Rogers, I forget which overtime period it was, the third, the fourth. He's getting pulled on pass interference. He's catching it with one hand, bringing it in. I mean, he was serious tonight, late in the football game, and so was Davis. It's a tough loss, without a doubt, for LSU. I mean, Joe Burrow was battling. Both teams battled. I mean, you got to look at those teams and say they put everything out on the line. They were dead tired by the end, and you could just see it in their body language and just, you know, you put that much effort into a night and go through 7 overtimes, you're going to be drained. One team had to win. It was Texas A&M. They got a little help with the officiating, but at the end of the day, They got the job done and won it, and it's a true test of character, and Jimbo Fisher is pumped, and it's a good way to kind of ride this out to see if they can get another win to finish their season in the bowl. A good day for college football, absolutely. The dominating performances by Ohio State and Alabama. Notre Dame and Ian Book find a way to grind one out against the USC team, and then that 7 overtime thriller. Let me know what you think down below on this. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.